Okay, this is the video of the lastModifiedBy and createdBy properties that we're adding to DNA API as part of DNA version history. So to get started, I went ahead and created a bearer token from Nile. And the thing I want to point out here is that the client ID ends in C880. That's just so we can have validation during the creation process and know that the right identity is being used. So all the requests I'm going to make have that bearer token included behind the scenes. The DNA version history functionality is enabled through a feature flag, so we can turn it on and turn it off as needed, or really just turn it on when we're ready in each environment. If I go out and do a get to get a list of feature flags, in my current database, nothing's there because I want to prove out the functionality of if there's no feature flags that match the feature flag we're expecting, it should act as if it's disabled. So I'm going to go for this example, I'm actually going to create banks. And if I do a get on the banks, you can see there's nothing there as well because I want to keep things clean in my local environment. First thing we're going to do is just going to create a new bank, and I just call it not a real bank token, not a real bank one with the one on everything, just so we know what we're dealing with. And if I send that, DNA responds back, and as you can see, it looks just like it does today. There's no created by last modified by property. I can also update that bank by saying to change the name to bank name 1B. If I do that, you can see it change, and again, there's no created by last modified by properties. So now we're going to go create that feature flag. It's called identity tracking, and we're going to enable it to true. I'm going to go ahead and grab this token for later when we do an update, so I don't forget. Put that right here. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go to we can do the banks query to find out, okay, there's that one bank that we created a minute ago. There's no created by last modified by. So let's create a different bank, and we'll just put a 2 at the end here. Keeping them all in sync. And if we send now, you can see we have the created by, and there's that C880, and the last modified by C880. So it sets those properties, and it does the exact same thing on the update as well. The only problem with that here is that we won't be able to see that it's really happening because it's the same identity. So you can see that we changed changing the name to 2B, and there's the C880. So now we can go to the feature flag, and we're going to turn it off. So it's set to false. We'll go ahead and send that to false, and we'll yet again create a third bank. Just changing the 2s to 3s. And this should mimic what we saw in the first example. And there we go. We can actually see no created by and no last modified by. Now if I go and actually enable it again, and we do that update to that same bank, we'll change the 3B and 3. I want to show you something interesting that happens here. We send, and you can see the last modified by is set, but the created by still doesn't exist. And the reason we're doing that is we cannot guarantee the creator based upon the updater, because maybe someone like Tanvi created a bank and I performed the update. So I wouldn't want to say that I created that bank when I really didn't. Okay, so that's the functionality I want to demonstrate today. The next step in the process is we're actually going to write out the history, so as properties change, like that bank name, we can see those historical records in a secondary table so we can build a history over time. Thanks for watching.